Welcome to Book Club on the Go, the podcast where we explore one book at a time in just a few minutes. In today's episode, we're diving into a book named Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy and sharing some of the most interesting and thought-provoking aspects of the book. Whether you're a fan of the book or just curious about it, our goal is to give you a taste of the book's themes, characters, and impact on the literary world. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. Here on our show, we take a deep dive into one book at a time. We'll talk about the characters, themes, and the key takeaways and lessons that we can learn from each book. If you're someone who loves literature and wants to gain a deeper understanding of the books you read, you're in the right place. We're going to have a lot of fun exploring these stories together, so let's dive in and start our journey of discovery. This book was first published over 100 years ago, and yet it still manages to captivate readers today. It's a story with complex themes and characters that will keep you on the edge of your seat. In Anna Karenina, Tolstoy tells the story of the aristocrat Anna and her doomed love affair. The novel follows the story of Anna, a beautiful and affluent woman who is trapped in a loveless marriage. She begins an affair with a wealthy and handsome young man named Vronsky, and the two fall deeply in love. However, their relationship causes a scandal and leads to Anna being shunned by society. As a result, she becomes increasingly isolated and desperate. Meanwhile, the book also follows the story of Levin, a young man who is struggling with his own sense of purpose and happiness. The main theme of the book is the search for meaning and fulfillment in life. The book explores the idea that true happiness comes from within, rather than from external sources such as wealth, power, or social status. It also examines the destructive nature of society's rules and expectations, and how they can lead to unhappiness and suffering. Here is an analysis of some of the literary elements in the book. Tolstoy uses symbolism throughout the book to convey deeper meanings. For example, the railway, which is a recurring symbol in the book, represents the modern world and its fast-paced lifestyle, which is in contrast with the traditional way of living. The book also uses the symbol of the ice to represent Anna's inner turmoil and freezing of her emotions. Tolstoy uses imagery to create vivid and detailed descriptions that help to bring the story to life. For example, he uses imagery to describe the natural beauty of the countryside, as well as the opulence of the city, to create a contrast between the two worlds. One of the most prominent motifs in Anna Karenina is the idea of two lives of the characters. The characters in the book are torn between their public lives and their private lives, and this conflict is a major theme throughout the story. Irony is used throughout the book to highlight the gap between what characters expect or intend and what actually happens. For example, Anna believes that her love for Vronsky will lead to happiness, but instead, it leads to her downfall. Here are some of my thoughts on the book's message and how it relates to our real life. The book's message is that true happiness comes from within and it can't be found in external sources such as wealth, power, or social status. Anna Karenina is a beautiful and fashionable woman who has everything that society deems as important, but she is deeply unhappy in her marriage. She believes that love and passion will bring her happiness, but in the end, it leads to her downfall. The book also highlights the destructive nature of society's rules and expectations, and how they can lead to unhappiness and suffering. Anna and Vronsky's relationship is not accepted by society, and they are shunned by the people around them. This leads to Anna's isolation and desperation. The book also talks about the idea of self-discovery and the search for meaning and fulfillment in life. The story of Levin, who is struggling with his own sense of purpose and happiness, highlights the importance of finding one's own path in life. Overall, Anna Karenina is a classic novel that explores the complexities of love, happiness, and the human condition in a way that is both timeless and relatable. Here are some similar books that can be compared to Anna Karenina. They are Madame Bovary by Gustave Flaubert and Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. All of these novels deal with similar themes, such as societal expectations, love, and happiness, but each one does it in its own way and in a different historical and cultural context. Anna Karenina is often considered one of the most realistic and relatable novels in this genre and a masterpiece of world literature. Thanks for tuning in to our latest We hope you enjoyed our discussion. Remember, this podcast is all about exploring one book at a time. If you want to dive deeper and gain a better understanding of the book, we recommend picking up a copy and reading it for yourself. Make sure to tune in next week when we'll be discussing another book. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us reach more book lovers like you. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.